Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel where we bring you the most inspiring stories of real-life heroes. Stories that fill your heart with fire and help you learn English naturally. Today, I am going to tell you about a boy who had nothing. A boy who shared a single room with his brothers and sisters. A boy who often went to bed hungry because there was not enough food on the table. A boy who was told he was too skinny, too emotional, and not strong enough to make it. But that boy had a dream that was bigger than his circumstances. That boy had a heart that refused to surrender. And that boy grew up to become not just a footballer, but a global icon, a symbol of hard work, and one of the greatest athletes the world has ever seen. His name is Cristiano Ronaldo. How did a poor boy from a tiny island in the middle of the ocean rise to stand on top of the world? How did he overcome a career-threatening heart condition, the pain of losing his father, and the constant pressure of being doubted? This is a story of sacrifice, of discipline, of an obsession with greatness. It is the story of the man they call CR7. And as always, this story is a powerful way to improve your English. You will learn football vocabulary, expressions about determination and success, and you will hear a story that will stay with you forever. So, get comfortable. Open your ears and your heart. Now, let us begin from the very start. Cristiano Ronaldo dos Santos Aveiro was born on February 5, 1985, on the beautiful island of Madeira, Portugal. Madeira is a small piece of land in the vast Atlantic Ocean, known for its green mountains and stunning cliffs. But for the Aveiro family, life was not beautiful. It was a daily struggle for survival. His mother, Dolores, worked as a cook and a cleaner. His father, José Diniz Aveiro, was a gardener and a kit man at a local football club. The family lived in a tiny house in the Santo Antonio neighborhood. The house was so small that Cristiano shared a room with his three older siblings, Hugo, Elma, and Curtia. There were no luxuries. Sometimes there was not even enough food. Dolores has said many times that she often went hungry so her children could eat. When Cristiano was born, his mother looked at him and saw a fighter. She had wanted to end the pregnancy because the family was already so poor. But Cristiano was born healthy and loud, and she would later say, he was a child who was going to be something special. God gave him to me for a reason. His father, José Diniz, named him after the American President Ronald Reagan because he admired him. And so, Cristiano Ronaldo was given a name that sounded big, even though his world was very small. From the moment he could walk, Cristiano had a ball at his feet. It was not an expensive ball. Sometimes it was just a rolled-up sock, or a plastic bottle, or a bundle of rags tied together. But to little Cristiano, it was everything. He dribbled through the narrow streets of his neighborhood, past stray dogs and old women hanging laundry. He played barefoot on the hard cobblestones until his feet were covered in blisters and cuts. He did not care about the pain. He only cared about the ball. His friends and neighbors saw him as a strange, obsessed boy. While other kids wanted to play at the beach or chase lizards, Cristiano wanted only to play football. He would cry bitterly if he lost a game in the street. Because of this, the other children gave him a nickname, Crybaby. But it was not the nickname that hurt him. It was the losing. He could not stand it. Even as a small child, the fire of competition burned hotter inside him than in anyone else. At the age of just 8 years old, Cristiano joined a local youth team called Andorinha, where his father worked as a kit man. Here, for the first time, he had a real team, a real coach, and real grass to play on. But he was still far from a star. Coaches saw a small, skinny boy with big ears and a heavy accent. He was technically good, yes, but there were many technically good kids. What set Cristiano apart was something you could not see in a training drill: his absolute refusal to give up. He would stay on the pitch long after the other boys had gone home. He practiced the same move 100 times until it was perfect. He ran and ran until his lungs burned. He did push-ups and sit-ups in his bedroom at night, even when his body was tired. He was building a machine, and that machine was himself. Soon, he moved to a bigger local club, Nacional. His talent was undeniable now. And at the age of 12, Cristiano made the most important decision of his young life. He left his island. He left his family. He left everything he knew and moved alone to Lisbon, the capital city, to join the Academy of Sporting CP, one of the biggest clubs in Portugal. This was a terrifying leap into the unknown. He was just a child. He missed his mother desperately. In the dormitory at the academy, he would cry himself to sleep almost every night. The other boys made fun of his thick Madeiran accent. They laughed at the way he spoke. He felt isolated, different, and very, very lonely. He called home every day, and his mother's voice was the only thing that gave him strength. But the pain of that loneliness also forged something inside him. He decided that he would not go home as a failure. He would not go back to Madeira with his tail between his legs. He would succeed, no matter what. He threw himself into training. He studied his teammates. He watched videos of the best players in the world and tried to copy them. He knew he was not the biggest or the strongest, but he could be the hardest working. Then, when Cristiano was just 15 years old, his world nearly collapsed. During a routine medical checkup, doctors discovered a serious heart condition. His heart was beating too fast, even at rest. It was a condition called racing heart, and it could have killed him if he continued to push his body to the limit. The doctors gave him two choices: stop playing football forever or undergo a risky surgery that would burn a part of his heart muscle. For Cristiano, there was no choice at all. Football was his life. He told the doctors to do the surgery. The operation was a success. And incredibly, just a few days later, Cristiano was back on the pitch, training again. It was a sign of his almost superhuman will. The boy with the broken heart, both emotionally and physically, had survived. And now nothing could stop him. At 16, Cristiano was promoted to train with Sporting's first team. He was still a teenager, but the older professionals could see that he was different. He was faster, sharper, hungrier. In one famous training session, a senior defender tried to bully him with a hard tackle. Cristiano got up, took the ball, and dribbled past him again and again. The coaches watched in awe. They knew they had a diamond. In the summer of 2003, Sporting played a friendly match against Manchester United, the legendary English club. Manchester United had just finished a long, exhausting season, but they came to Lisbon to open Sporting's new stadium. What happened that day would change the history of football forever. Cristiano Ronaldo, an 18-year-old winger with bleached blonde hair and skinny legs, ran onto the pitch. And for 90 minutes, he tore the Manchester United defense to shreds. He ran past them like they were standing still. He did stepovers, flicks, and sprints that left the fans gasping. The Manchester United players watched in disbelief. At halftime, in the locker room, their captain, Roy Keane, and other senior players turned to their manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, and said, "Boss, we have to sign this kid. Right now." Ferguson had seen enough. He had already been tracking Cristiano. After the match, he walked straight to the sporting directors and said, "We are not leaving without that boy." Within days, a deal was done. Manchester United paid over £12 million for a teenager who had played only a handful of professional games. Cristiano Ronaldo was going to the Premier League. But England was a cold, hard, and unforgiving place. The weather was nothing like the sun of Madeira or Lisbon. The training was brutal. The tackles were fierce. The defenders were giants. And the pressure was immense. Cristiano was given the number 7 shirt at Manchester United. This was a sacred number. It had been worn by legends like George Best, Eric Cantona, and David Beckham. The weight of history was on his thin shoulders. In his early games, fans criticized him for being a show pony, all tricks and no end product. He did too many stepovers, they said. He was too weak. He went to ground too easily. The English media were harsh. They called him a diver, a cheat. Cristiano felt the sting of their words deeply. But again, he did not break. He took the criticism and used it as fuel. He approached his manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, and asked, "What do I need to do?" Ferguson, a father figure to him, told him the truth. "You are incredibly talented. But talent is not enough. You need to add muscle. You need to make better decisions. You need to work harder than anyone else." Cristiano listened. And then he worked. He spent hours in the gym every single day. He lifted weights until his muscles screamed. He changed his entire body, building a physique that was more like a sprinter than a footballer. He stayed after training to practice his shooting from long range. He practiced free kicks for hours on end, bending the ball over walls and into the top corner. He studied videos of his own games, analyzing every mistake, every lost ball, every missed chance. The results were astonishing. In the 2006 to 2007 season, Cristiano exploded. He scored 23 goals. He terrorized defenders. He won his first Premier League title. The skinny boy who was told he was too soft was now the most feared player in England. The following season, he was even better. He scored 42 goals, an unbelievable number for a winger. He led Manchester United to the Premier League and the UEFA Champions League, the biggest club competition in the world. In the 2008 Champions League final in Moscow, Cristiano scored a towering header to give United the lead. The game went to penalties, and Cristiano missed his kick. He fell to the pitch and wept. But his teammates saved him, and United won the trophy. He had reached the summit of club football. That year, he won his first Ballon d'Or, the award given to the best player on the planet. He was just 23 years old. The boy from Madeira was now the king of the world. But Cristiano's hunger was still not satisfied. In 2009, he made another life-changing move. He signed for Real Madrid, the biggest club in Spain, for a world record transfer fee of €94 million. 80,000 fans packed the Santiago Bernabéu stadium just to welcome him. He stood on the pitch, wearing the famous white shirt, and the roar was deafening. It was the biggest challenge of his career. Real Madrid had not won the Champions League in years. They were in the shadow of their great rivals, Barcelona, who had a young genius called Lionel Messi. This was the beginning of one of the greatest rivalries in the history of all sport. For the next 9 years, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi pushed each other to heights that had never been seen before. They broke records, won awards, and scored goals at a rate that defied logic. At Real Madrid, Cristiano transformed into an even more ruthless machine. He was no longer just a tricky winger. He became a pure goal-scoring monster. He scored with his right foot, his left foot, and his head. He jumped so high for headers that scientists studied his leap and said he could compete with Olympic basketball players. In one famous moment against his old club Manchester United, he scored a header after jumping so high that his knee was level with a defender's head. He broke the record for the most goals in a single Champions League season. He scored over 60 goals in a season multiple times. And he led Real Madrid to 4 Champions League titles in 5 years, a dynasty of dominance that had not been seen since the 1950s. The man who was once called a diver and a show pony had become the all-time top scorer in the history of the Champions League. In 2016, Cristiano also achieved his greatest dream with his national team. Portugal were not favorites to win the European Championship. They were a team of fighters, led by their captain. Cristiano pushed them through each round. In the final against France, disaster struck early. Cristiano suffered a terrible knee injury from a heavy tackle. He fell to the grass. The pain was unbearable. He tried to continue, but his body would not allow it. As the stretcher carried him off, tears streamed down his face. But Cristiano did not disappear. He stood on the sidelines, limping, shouting instructions, waving his arms, and coaching his teammates. He was a captain in every sense of the word. And when Portugal scored the winning goal in extra time, Cristiano collapsed in joy. He lifted the trophy as captain. It was the proudest moment of his life. He had given his small country its greatest sporting moment. After 9 incredible years at Real Madrid, Cristiano shocked the world again. At the age of 33, when most players slow down, he moved to Juventus in Italy. People said he was too old. People said the Italian league was too defensive. But Cristiano laughed at their doubts. He scored 100 goals for Juventus, won league titles, and broke records for fun. His body, at an age when other players were tired, was still that of a 25-year-old. He returned to Manchester United for a second spell, and later moved to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia, spreading the game to a new continent. And through it all, he continued to score goals. Goals, goals, and more goals. He became the highest official goal scorer in the history of football, surpassing legends like Pelé and Joseph Baiken. Over 900 career goals and counting. A number that is almost impossible to believe. But Cristiano Ronaldo's story is not just about football. It is about the man. He is a devoted father to his children. He often shares videos of him working out with his eldest son, Cristiano Jr., passing on the lessons of discipline and hard work. He is a generous philanthropist, donating millions to hospitals, children's charities, and disaster relief. He once paid for a child's brain surgery and regularly gives blood. His daily routine is legendary. He does not drink alcohol. He does not eat junk food. He goes to bed early and wakes up at dawn. He trains for hours, does cryotherapy to recover his muscles, and swims in ice-cold water. His body fat percentage is lower than most professional athletes half his age. He once invited a group of teammates to his house for lunch. They ate a healthy meal of fish and salad. And then Cristiano said, "Now let's go train." The other players groaned. They thought lunch was the end. But for Cristiano, the work never stops. He has said, "Your love makes me strong. Your hate makes me unstoppable." And he has lived that motto every single day of his life. The critics, the whistles, the boos, they are just more fuel for the fire that started in a tiny house on a tiny island so many years ago. Now, what can we learn from the life of Cristiano Ronaldo? First, your starting point does not determine your destination. Cristiano was born into poverty. He had no connections, no money, and no special advantages. But he had a dream, and he was willing to sacrifice everything for it. No matter where you come from, your future is not written. You hold the pen. Second, talent is a myth without hard work. How many talented young footballers have you heard about who disappeared without a trace? Cristiano had talent, but so do millions of others. What made him different was his insane work ethic. He trained more, prepared better, and recovered smarter than everyone else. In your life, whether you are learning English or building a career, do not rely on talent. Rely on effort. Effort beats talent when talent does not work hard. Third, embrace criticism. When the English media called him a diver, he did not hide. He got stronger. When they said he was finished at 33, he scored 100 goals in a new country. Your critics are not your enemies. They can be your loudest motivators. Use their words as proof that you must work even harder. Fourth, discipline is freedom. Cristiano's life may seem strict. No parties, no alcohol, early nights, constant training. But that discipline gave him the freedom to play at the highest level for over 2 decades. It gave him the freedom to choose his own path. When you are disciplined, you are the master of your own life. Fifth, family and roots matter. Cristiano never forgot Madeira. He has honored his mother, his late father, and his humble beginnings. No matter how high you rise, always remember where you came from. Gratitude keeps you grounded. And finally, never, ever be satisfied. After winning his first Ballon d'Or, Cristiano could have relaxed. Instead, he pushed harder. After winning his 3rd Champions League, he wanted a 4th. After 900 goals, he still chases the next one. Greatness is not a destination. It is a journey of constant improvement. Cristiano Ronaldo once said, "I am not a perfectionist, but I like to feel that things are done well." More important than that, I feel an endless need to learn, to improve, to evolve. That is the mindset of a true champion. You, who are listening right now, are on your own journey. You are learning English. Maybe you struggle. Maybe you feel like your accent is strange, like the other students are better, like you are too old or too slow. But I want you to think of the boy in Madeira, playing with a ball made of rags, crying when he lost, and never, ever stopping. He had every excuse to give up, but he did not. So, do not give up on your English. Do not give up on your dreams. Wake up early. Do the extra practice. Watch the video one more time. Speak the words even if you are afraid. Because one day, you will look back and you will see the mountain you have climbed. And you will know that you built yourself, just like the boy from Madeira built himself, into something great. Cristiano Ronaldo left us with these words: talent without working hard is nothing. And he is living proof that hard work can turn a street kid into a legend. Thank you for listening to this story. If it inspired you, if it made you want to work harder and dream bigger, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this with a friend who needs motivation. And let me know in the comments, what part of Cristiano's journey touched you the most? I read every comment. Until next time, keep training, keep believing, and remember that the fire inside you is the most powerful force in the universe. Suo. Bye for now.